Loads of you have been asking me for recipes without eggs. So today I thought I would share with you my eggless chocolate chip cookies recipe. Hi, I'm Andrea from Movers and Bakers. Let's get baking. So to start with, like with a normal cookie, I'm going to put my butter in and cream it with my sugars. I'm just going to give that a very quick mix just to loosen it up before I add my sugar to it. There we go. And to that, I'm going to add 2 sugars. I have caster sugar and brown sugar. I'm just going to give them a quick mix. You can do this by hand, but I'm doing it with a mixer for speed. Now remember to make sure when you're using butter in this recipe that it's at room temperature, otherwise it's going to be really hard and you're going to struggle to mix it in with your sugars. So you just want to beat it until it's completely combined, just like that. You don't need to whip it up to get a lot of air in, it's absolutely fine. To that, I'm going to add some vanilla. This is very much my chocolate chip cookies were very, very popular. If you've not come across my other cookie recipes, do have a look at my cookies playlist. There's a lot in there. Right, now that is mixed, I'm going to add to that my dry ingredients. So I have some plain flour and some baking soda or bicarbonate of soda. Sift those in. There we go, all done. And now it's just time to mix it up again. So just keep mixing this until it all comes together and it'll look like it's quite dry, but once you add your milk in, it will all come together. There we go, all mixed up. So that looks like you can see like all really crumbly, and as soon as we put the milk in, which is what we're going to do next, it's all going to come together. So I've got my milk, I'm just going to pour it in and then I'm going to mix it again and watch the magic happen. And that is all our cookie dough done. Now of course I have made this into a chocolate chip cookies recipe, but if you don't want to put chocolate chips in, you can put some nuts in, you can put raisins in, whatever you feel like putting in. But if you've watched enough of my videos, you'll know that I'm slightly chocolate obsessed. So of course the chocolate chips it has to be. Right, so my cookie dough is all ready. Now to add to that my chocolate chips. I actually have here chocolate drops. I have not been able to find chocolate chips anywhere in any shops local to me. So I've ordered these online and they have come. If you can get chocolate chips, they are much better in this cookie recipe. But if not, chocolate drops work just fine too. So pop them in, give it a mix, and then we're good to go. The reason I have swapped to using a spatula for this bit is to keep the chocolate chips as whole as possible. And you can see I have put a really generous amount of chocolate chips in here, or chocolate drops in my case. Now the nice thing about this recipe too is with a lot of my other cookie recipes, I will pop them in the fridge for an hour or so to set a little, to firm up a little bit. But with these, I'm going to put them straight in the oven. So while I've been making this, I've had my oven preheating at 180, and I'm going to pop them on a cookie sheet in a moment, and then they're going to go in the oven. My cookies take about 7 minutes to cook, but it will depend on the temperature that your oven gets to. So it could be anything from 5 to about 9 minutes. So I have a ice cream scoop or a cookie scoop. You can use 2 spoons, you can use whatever method you want. I like using my ice cream scoop because I find it gives me really even sized cookies for my bake. There we go, I'm just going to drop them. Don't forget to leave enough of a gap for them to spread out while they're cooking in the oven. And that's my cookies ready to go in the oven. So I will bake these for 7 minutes and I will see you on the other side with gorgeous cookies. See you soon. Right, my cookies are out of the oven. I left them on my cookie sheet to cool for about 5 minutes before I moved them because they were still very soft when they came out. Always remember with cookies, you have to not cook them until they're hard on the sheet or they will be really crispy. They will be cookies and chewy. So I cooled them on the sheet and then I've transferred them to my cooling rack, as you can see. And they are not quite cool yet, but I cannot wait to crack in. They are almost there. Now, because I use chocolate drops instead of chocolate chips, my chocolate has actually melted properly into the cookies, as you can see, rather than being chunks of chocolate within the cookie itself. I personally prefer the chocolate chips version because I like the chunks of chocolate unmelted in my cookies, but needs must, and chocolate always wins, so I'm not complaining really. So my cookie, I'm going to crack in. It's still slightly warm, so it's still a bit more bendy than usual, but you have the trade-off is I have gooey chocolate in the middle because it's still warm. The cookies do puff up when they're in the oven, and they will be quite big and they'll sink back down, but that's what makes them chewy and beautiful. There you have it. My cookies are ready and they are good to eat. All that's left now is to dig in. They are still chewy, with the crisp edges that you would expect from a good cookie, and they are beautiful and melty because they're still slightly warm. Perfect with a glass of milk. Who says you can't have cookies if you don't have eggs? There you go. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my other cookie videos. Do like this if you've enjoyed it, and please do subscribe. See you next time.